life after life.
Well, are you settling in well, young man?
Yes, I'm starting to get used to it. It's just unclear to me why the heavy earthly world was created. Wouldn't it have been better if God had made us angels right away?
Angels, unlike humans, are limited in their experience. They haven't experienced evil, lies, desire, sadness, longing, and hope of earthly life. They know nothing about the cold, hunger, satiety, anger and defense, passion, attachment, and many other negative and positive aspects of earthly existence. However, these earthly experiences are also important for the maturity of the soul, but these aspects are also important for cultivating growth, understanding, and wisdom within the soul. Only by experiencing the full spectrum of various emotions, the soul reaches its perfection. After a long journey from a particle to a Buddha, it acquires individuality incomparable with other souls. Although, in the beginning, when separated from God, all souls are like 2 drops of water, and in the end, they become all different, each with its own experiences and memories from previous lives. And even though they reach God, what difference does it really make how incomparable the uniqueness of Christ, Buddha, Mahavira, Krishna, Mohammed, and Lao Tzu is?
And yet how unjust the world seems. Criminals killed me, and I ended up here. I'm happy. I am infinitely happy. But why were they punished and imprisoned for many years?
Yes, Brother Bogomil, the drama of earthly life is based on ignorance, misunderstanding, and complete blindness of people. If they possessed an all-seeing vision, this drama would be impossible. The entire play of earthly life arises from the fact that humans know nothing about the past nor the future. Another person's soul is so foreign to them, but most importantly, they do not know themselves. Their blindness is rooted in this, and is the cause of all their suffering. Yet they can know themselves, and it all starts with self-observation and self-contemplation, from an impartial and detached perspective on all thoughts, feelings, and sensations that come to them. Then they awaken and transform into a Buddha. The human is both an actor and a spectator of the drama of life, but they do not realize that they are actors, and that is their misfortune. However, the drama of life is not useless. Everything that was played stays encoded in a realm forever. Today, we can witness one of the most interesting parts of this drama, preserved in the Akashic records, namely, the emergence of earthly civilization. Let's sit in a circle, hold hands, and tune into the beginning of the Atlantean civilization.
And there they were, right next to the colossal pyramids that were still under construction. Huge stone blocks flew through the air and assembled themselves into pyramids, like on a massive construction site. This process was executed by small green beings with large elongated eyes, who stood next to a big white flying saucer. So that's who built the pyramids.
Yes, all the megaliths, such as Stonehenge, the Sphinx, and Machu Picchu, were built by them to bring spiritual energy down to Earth. And on specific points on Earth, these structures had a particularly strong energetic flow. There, new priests of humanity received their initiation and transformation. They still operate to prevent the Earth from suffocating in its spiritual emptiness and ignorance.
Here, Jan saw a group of priests sitting on a platform in front of a large group of ancient people. Teacher! It's the teacher!
I know. This great soul has reincarnated again to guide the lost people towards the light. Now they are incarnating one by one, and it's challenging for them. At the dawn of civilization, great souls incarnated in large groups, led by the manifestation of God, and gave birth to great religions.
They flew closer and listened to what the teacher was saying. Jan was amazed to hear Moses' 10 Commandments, well known from the Bible. However, the explanations he provided, even to the not-so-enlightened Jan, were clearly different from the teachings that the cult's followers passed on.
Yes, Jan, God gives almost the same commandments to all nations, so that people have guidelines for their development and a harmonious life. But since the time of Atlantis, the meaning of these has been lost and distorted, and now only teachers like the enlightened master can restore their meaning.
One of the important commandments is the covenant, honor the calendar. According to the teachings, the calendar is the wheel of time. Time is the Earth's movement relative to the sun, and any other movement is also time. But time is not uniform, as it includes the movement of planets and the location of stars relative to the Earth. There is time for creation and destruction, for action and inaction, for swift and slow currents, time for every deed. Each of you must know what kind of time will come for you personally and for all of us on Earth. Let your children study astrology from an early age to understand this. Our brothers from the depths of the galaxy are already building observatories to calculate and understand with precision all the mysteries of time and its influence on everything on Earth. Jan remembered Stonehenge and other ancient structures that served as observatories. At that time, he didn't understand their purpose for ignorant savages. But now, he's seen that the ancients were more spiritual and knowledgeable about important things than modern people.
Indeed, back then, gods walked the earth. Nowadays, civilization keeps degrading spiritually. Despite technological progress, people are preparing for a mass suicide. It's becoming harder to find true schools amid a crowd of false prophets and priests who have long traded God for lentil soup.
After visiting the Akashic Chronicles, Jan and Sapphire were extensively asking Kadger about birth, choice, and the meaning of life.
Only those who have reached complete awareness can choose their birth. Even then, they are more oriented towards God's will, towards what He wants. So, while they could choose, they would still act according to God's desire. If an ordinary person could choose, they would probably opt for a rich life, an interesting one, like that of a traveler or a spiritual life, for personal growth, to avoid ending up in purgatory, and to avoid being born into unfavorable conditions where life would be meaningless. However, as we can see, the majority of people live completely empty and meaningless lives without any purpose. Few would knowingly choose such a fate if they knew what it entailed. That they didn't make a choice, just like they aren't making one in this life. Such a choice might be possible for animals that know nothing about human life, or for those who are complete ignoramuses, choosing to be born only because they will have relatives, regardless of the pointlessness of it all. But then, such a choice and life would have no meaning. However, if God makes this choice for us, then He provides precisely the lesson needed for our development, even if it means a life of someone with intellectual disabilities. This means that such an experience was necessary for us, as negative experiences are also lessons and can be even more important than positive ones. If we were to explain incarnation solely through the lens of the law of karma and not as God's will, then life would feel meaningless for most people. They would either suffer or indulge, but there would be no purpose, no lesson, nor necessary experiences to advance further, as the law of karma is blind, and a person would simply move in circles. There would be no evolution or progress, just endless repetition. However, we see that the world is intelligently structured, with the presence of a divine, supreme wise power, and it is unlikely to allow any senseless repetition of meaningless situations. Instead, this power doesn't provide punishment or reward, but what propels us forward. The necessary experience that will usher us into a sense of understanding, which then becomes embedded in the emotional center and carries over into the next life. It is impossible to erase imprints from the experiences of the emotional center. It doesn't operate like mental memory. Nevertheless, while there, a person knows how they will incarnate. They are shown this, and there they can understand why it's necessary, just like that.
The cartoon is based on the book Life After Life. Read Life After Life on the website amazon1.org/books. Receive more interesting practices, spiritual knowledge, and gifts on the websites of our partners. You will find details in the description.